23 years since the 9/11 terror attacks.
We remember the events that changed New York City and the rest of the world forever. We honor the thousands of lives lost, including those in the years following the attacks. A live look from the reflecting pools at the September 11th memorial, where thousands will gather this morning for today's ceremony. The honor guard will enter and the national anthem will be performed. The names of every victim will be read by family members. There will be 6 moments of silence to signify when the plane struck and when the towers fell. After the first moment of silence, church bells will ring across the city.
As we pause to remember the victims, we also reflect on the sacrifices made by first responders who raced to the towers to save lives.
Christina Fan joins us live from Lower Manhattan, where the annual ceremony is taking place. Christina?
Chris and Mary, once again this morning, family members of 9/11 victims will gather at Ground Zero to grieve the insurmountable losses from 23 years ago. Decades later, the death toll unfortunately continues to climb. 9/11 related illnesses have now killed more members of the FDNY than the attack itself. Every year on September 11th, the focus of the nation turns to Ground Zero as New York remembers its darkest day. The annual commemoration ceremony mourns those who lost their lives after terrorists seized 4 U.S. passenger jets, crashing them into the Twin Towers, the Pentagon, and a field in southwest Pennsylvania, killing nearly 3,000 people. It also honors those who rushed in to help. This year, the number of FDNY members who have died from Ground Zero toxins has surpassed the total that died on the day of the attack.
We all know coworkers that are sick. Some of them are nearing the end of their fight.
343 members of the FDNY died on 9/11. In the year since, 370 have died of World Trade Center related illnesses. The somber milestone reached amid an ongoing struggle for more federal funding. First responders are asking for support to pass the Health Funding Correction Act to secure coverage of firefighters' medical costs before 9/11 becomes a more distant memory.
The numbers don't paint the picture of how people are suffering, how people have become dependent on quality medical care, and although they're alive in life, they are not necessarily living.
And the ceremony begins this morning at 8:30 and is expected to run past noon. There will be a total of 6 moments of silence signifying when the plane struck and the towers fell. Reporting live from Lower Manhattan, Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
Christina, thank you. Nearly 3,000 people were killed on 9/11, including 2 of our own at CBS New York, Isaias Rivera and Robert Patterson. Isaias was an engineer who worked at our transmitter inside the towers. Robert was a broadcast engineer who worked there. Both men were on the 110th floor of One World Trade at the time of the attacks. We at CBS New York send our heartfelt condolences to the Rivera and Patterson families.
Last week, firefighters paid tribute to their own who died well after the towers fell on 9/11 by adding the names of 32 men to the FDNY World Trade Center Memorial Wall. Tearful family members left behind white roses to honor firefighters who died of illnesses related to their work in the rescue and recovery efforts 23 years ago. More than 360 members of the FDNY have died from 9/11 related illnesses.
23 years after the 9/11 attacks, an NYPD detective who went to help after the towers fell is still assisting others in a different way now. Robert Jordan served at Ground Zero after the attacks and was even part of President Bush's security detail during his historic speech in the pit. In 2017, after he retired, Jordan was diagnosed with throat cancer. He enrolled in the World Trade Center health program at Northwell Health, and after more than 40 radiation treatments, he is now in remission.
It hits you like a ton of bricks, your family, your medical well-being.
There were so many different cancer-causing substances in the dust and the plume. And, you know, the fires burned for 3 months.
While Jordan might be retired from the NYPD, he is still helping others. He says he regularly lets people know who are exposed about the help that's available, and he helps walk them through that process.
Be sure to tune in to CBS News New York. Later this morning, we will have special coverage of the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony beginning at 8:25.